Welcome to the Hollywood Hustle channel, presented by Molly and Lester.
Hello, I'm Molly.
And I'm Lester.
And we're extremely excited to be your hosts on Hollywood Hustle.
In this podcast, we'll be deep diving into Charles Lenhoff's journal, Hollywood Hustle. Welcome back to the deep dive, where we dig through your source material to bring you the most interesting stuff. And today, we're going Hollywood. Well, not exactly the Oscars, but close enough. We're taking a look at the world of talent packaging.
Yeah, talent packaging. We've got our hands on, well, it looks like some kind of insider tell-all, maybe even a legal document. And this guy, Lenhoff, he's at the center of it all, going up against some of Hollywood's biggest agencies.
Sounds juicy. So we're not talking about, like, who's dating who, right? This Lenhoff character seems ready to air some serious dirty laundry. This is about big-time money, power plays, maybe even exploitation in the entertainment industry.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And from the way Lenhoff tells it, this isn't just some disgruntled ex-employee. He's saying the whole system is rigged, and he's out to expose it.
And by system, we're talking about the behind-the-scenes world of putting together TV shows and movies, right?
Yeah.
The actors, the writers, directors, all the players that make the entertainment we love.
Exactly. And those people are brought together through this thing called packaging. And what Lenhoff is saying is that this system, this packaging, it can be more about making the agencies rich than it is about supporting the artists themselves.
Okay, hold on a sec. I think we need to back up for a second. For those of us who don't have an agent on speed dial, what exactly is talent packaging? And why is it causing such a ruckus in Hollywood?
Okay, imagine this. You're a big shot studio executive, right? And you want to make the next big hit show. You could spend months, years even, searching for the perfect actors, writers, directors, then try to get them all on contract, hope their schedules line up. It's a nightmare.
So why not skip all that and have it delivered on a silver platter?
Exactly. Enter the talent agencies. They package everything up, actors, writers, directors, a whole shebang, and present it to studios as a done deal. It's like a Hollywood meal kit.
Sounds pretty efficient. But I have a feeling it comes with a catch.
Oh, you better believe it. This convenience comes with a hefty price tag, packaging fees. Agencies take a cut of the show's profits on top of the commission they get from their clients.
Hold up. They're getting paid by both sides. Doesn't that seem like a conflict of interest? Like, imagine if your real estate agent got a commission from both you and the seller.
That's the big issue. The Writers Guild of America, the WGA, have been battling with agencies over this very thing for ages. Their argument is that agencies might be more interested in securing a fat packaging fee than they are in getting their clients the best individual deal.
And from what I'm hearing about this Lenhoff guy, he thinks that's exactly what happened to him.
You got it. He claims these Uber agencies, as he calls them, UTA and ICM, they swooped in and poached his clients by promising them, bigger paychecks, more high-profile roles, and they did it all through this packaging game.
And we're not talking about just one or two instances, right? It sounds like Lenhoff is implying that these kinds of tactics are pretty standard practice in Hollywood.
Sadly, it seems that way. The excerpts we have, they suggest a pattern of behavior. And the kicker is, it's all, as far as I can tell, totally legal.
And that's where this general materials packaging agreement comes in, right?
Yeah.
This thing sounds like the key to how these agencies hold all the cards.
Exactly. It's the legal framework, the fine print, that dictates how the spoils are divided in Hollywood. And to really grasp what Lenhoff is up against, we need to unpack this agreement, see how it really works.
This is getting good. We're talking about millions, potentially billions of dollars at stake. And it all comes down to this web of contracts and agreements.
That's Hollywood for you. And knowing how this packaging game works, well, that's how you survive in this town.
All right, so we've got a handle on the basics. What talent packaging is, why it's causing so much controversy. But let's get down to brass tacks. How does this general materials packaging agreement actually function?
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
So this general materials packaging agreement, it's like the rule book, but only the agencies get a copy, right? What's in it that gives them so much power?
Think of it this way. It's a fine print that decides how the money gets divvied up in Hollywood. This agreement, it lays out all the rules, how those packaging fees get calculated, when they get paid, even how agencies split the pot when you've got multiple agencies on a single project.
Wait, so it's not just agencies versus the talent or agencies versus the studios. You're saying these agencies are battling each other too.
Oh yeah, it's a total feeding frenzy. This agreement, it creates this cutthroat competition where every agency wants the biggest package, the biggest names, the biggest piece of the pie. And these aren't just one-time deals, right? We're talking about an agreement that covers a whole slate of projects, potentially potentially raking in millions, even billions over time.
Man, sounding more and more like a Wall Street thriller every minute. But legally speaking, how does this agreement hold up? If there's this much potential for a conflict of interest, shouldn't there be, like, regulations or something?
That's the million-dollar question. And that's what's so interesting about Lenhoff's case. He's saying that this agreement, which has been the industry standard for who knows how long, is fundamentally broken. He thinks it gives agencies way too much power and lets them screw over the very artists they're supposed to be representing.
It's like letting the wolf guard the hen house.
Yeah.
Right? But how do you even begin to challenge something so deeply ingrained in Hollywood? It's like this agreement's been around since, like, the Golden Age or something.
That's what makes his case so intriguing. He's not just crying breach of contract or some other technicality. He's going after the whole system. Lenhoff is really trying to lift the curtain on Hollywood, and he's using his own story as, like, a warning to others.
And this could be huge, right?
Yeah.
If he wins, this could send shockwaves through the entire entertainment industry. This could force agencies to change the way they do business.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the money, right? Lenhoff's case, it shines a light on the power dynamics at play in Hollywood. He's challenging the way things have always been done. And win or lose, his willingness to speak out, it might give other creatives, the guts to stand up and say, hey, we deserve better.
This is like David versus Goliath, except in this version, David's weapon is a stack of legal papers and the will to expose the truth.
It's a classic underdog story, but let's be real. Even if he manages to, shake things up, there's no guarantee that anything will actually change in the long run.
Yeah, Hollywood's a tough nut to crack. It's known for weathering scandals and coming out the other side pretty much unscathed. It's not like things change overnight in that town.
You said it. Change is a long game. But every now and then, it takes someone like Lenhoff, someone willing to put themselves out there and say, enough is enough, to get the ball rolling.
So let's say he wins. What does that even look like? Does Hollywood packaging get a complete makeover?
Well, a complete makeover might be pushing it, but it would definitely mean some serious renovations. A legal victory for Lenhoff could force agencies to be more transparent about their packaging fees and potentially give talent more bargaining power.
You're saying the days of agencies playing both sides, collecting fees from both the talent and the studios, might be numbered.
It's possible courts could impose stricter regulations on packaging, maybe even require agencies to choose a side representing either the talent or the project, but not both.
That would be huge. It'd be like breaking up a monopoly. But wouldn't studios push back on that? I mean, they seem to benefit from the convenience of packaging.
They do, but remember, studios also answer to their shareholders and stakeholders. If the court of public opinion turns against packaging, studios might be hesitant to be seen as exploiting talent, even if it means going back to a more time-consuming way of doing business.
It's a fascinating power struggle. But let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the human cost of all of this. We've been so focused on the legal and financial intricacies that we haven't really touched on how this system impacts the writers, actors, and directors.
You're absolutely right. For many creatives, especially those new to Hollywood, packaging can feel like a double-edged sword. On one hand, it can open doors and get your foot in the door. Being part of a pre-assembled package might be your ticket to working with a renowned director or landing a role in a promising project.
But on the other hand, it sounds like they might be sacrificing a lot of leverage in the process.
Precisely. They might be pressured to accept lower salaries or give up certain creative rights in exchange for being part of a hot package.
So it's a trade-off. Exposure and opportunity versus potential financial and creative concessions.
Exactly. And it's a decision that many creatives struggle with. Do they take the risk and bet on themselves, or do they play it safe and hope the package deal leads to bigger and better things down the line?
It's a gamble either way. And it highlights a fundamental truth about Hollywood. It's a business built on talent, but it's still a business.
Absolutely. And like any business, there are winners and losers. And the rules of the game are often tilted in favor of those with the most power and influence.
But here's the thing. Stories like Lenhoff's remind us that the status quo isn't set in stone. By asking tough questions, challenging the system, and refusing to back down, individuals can spark conversations and potentially drive change.
He's a reminder that even in a town as seemingly impenetrable as Hollywood, one voice can make a difference.
This whole deep dive has been a real eye-opener. It's easy to get caught up in the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, but behind the scenes, it's a complex and often cutthroat world.
It's a world where creativity and commerce collide, and sometimes those forces are at odds with each other.
But it's also a world where stories have the power to inspire, challenge, and even change the world.
And that's something worth fighting for.
You got that right. This has been quite the journey behind the velvet ropes of Hollywood. Thanks for joining us on The Deep Dive.
It's been my pleasure.
And remember, the next time you're binge watching your favorite show, take a moment to appreciate the writers, actors, directors, and yes, even the agents who made it all happen. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.
That wraps up this episode. Please check out the author's website at lenhoff.com to access all the research, exhibits, court filings, transcripts, and more. I'm Molly.
And I'm Lester. And we'll see you very soon on the next episode of Hollywood Hustle.